The solo leveling anime has truly taken the anime world by storm, and for those of you who love the powers of a leveling system, especially those like the ones shown being used by Sung Jinwoo, it only gets even more overpowered in the future of this anime. But another is giving everyone tons of joy, and even the amounts of absolute levels of PTSD that are being shown and being seen in the anime of JJK, which is the one that I obviously normally do in content wise. So I decided, how would Sung Jinwoo stack up against the entirety of the cast of JJK? And I'll be the first one to tell you that Sung Jinwoo has and may have started his own world as the weakling and the weakest person in his entire cast, but he is peak. At his peak, he would absolutely could possibly solo the entirety of JJK and their entire verse. So what do you guys think would really happen? Could he actively just speed blitz the entirety of JJK? Because there are so many thought processes that you would have to think about for him even being able to do anything like this, and he's just way too powerful for you to be even considering that, oh yeah, he might have struggles with some characters, he might have struggles with another, and everything else like that. How do you think Sung Jinwoo would actively be stacking up against characters in JJK? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So please give me your opinions and comments down below, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and just tell me everything that you guys think about down in the comment section. But I will say, let's get into the video. Sung Jinwoo is the main character in solo leveling, obviously. And with that comes obviously a lot of perks and things that he's able to do, really. He obviously started off the character and he started off his story, as I've already said, as the weakest person in his series, and eventually became this strong, incredibly overpowered character that we have now come to see in the manhwa. And for those of you who haven't read Solo Leveling, you might just want to leave, because this is where it's going to be to the point where it's a little spoilers. It's going to be a lot of spoilers, really, so you might just want to leave and go watch some of my other videos. But in all fairness, Sung Jinwoo is a character that is so immensely overpowered. There are so many characters that Sung Jinwoo could easily one-shot and beat in his own series, let alone JJK. JJK is a series and a verse that might have, yes, some decent feats in comparison to a few things, but in all fairness, in all reality, it doesn't have a real good amount of strong and very overwhelming feats in the big run of anime and the big run of just entire things. There are so many characters that could easily beat JJK in anime, and Sung Jinwoo could easily be one of those characters in contention for that. I'm only saying could because there are only like maybe one character. There's only really one character that would really give him any kind of problems, which would be Gojo, but even then, not really, because he could get through infinity. So in all fairness, there's no one in JJK that would be able to really take on Sung Jinwoo. For me to actually get this point across to y'all, because I know some of y'all are very big Gojo stans and very big like Sukuna stans, Kenjaku stans, or whatever, I actually want to just get to you and let you guys know what Sung Jinwoo's abilities really are. If we're not even going into the realm of the shadow territory, he has one immense strength. His strength is basically second to no one in the terms of his own verse at this point, especially if we go to the point of literally at the end of the manhwa and everything else like that. Sung Jinwoo's strength is easily one of those things that from the beginning of the story to where we go and how he goes on, it levels up and levels up and levels up. By the point that we hit some, like literally not even middle of the manga and like the manhwa, and we hit somewhere, we started actively getting farther into the manhwa, where he's sitting around like level 50-ish. He's already getting to the same level as most S rank hunters in the solo leveling universe. And most of the S ranks in solo leveling could easily be rated to the same level as where Gojo and all of the highest ranked people in JJK are at and could scale to. There are some S ranks that could easily like actively be stronger or whatever, but it's a very big spectrum of how strong S ranks are. So when I say this, he easily was already outclassing them. So he was already by that point starting to outclass a good portion of the people that would be in JJK already. And that was only when he was at level 50. And by the time that we even get farther and farther into the manhwa, he is easily getting to levels past 100, 200, 300, whatever you want to call it, and is getting even stronger and stronger and stronger as the time goes along. Sung Jinwoo is just immensely getting stronger as time goes along, because his strength is one of the main things that he puts his skills into. He obviously has the leveling system where he can put skills and things into multiple parts of his body and everything else like that. And strength is the one of the main thing that he's always been putting it into. So his strength is almost unmatched when it comes to so many things. If we really want to talk about it, one, he was able to go feet for feet and just go for beat with Thomas Andre and completely almost obliterate him just by using his bare hands. And Thomas Andre is a national rank hunter, and in the soul leveling world, that basically means they could take out an entire country by themselves if they wanted to. So Sung Jinwoo was completely able to take him down without really very too much of a big problem, which really says something, because Thomas Andre is an entirely big giant threat, and he would be a very big threat in the JJK world too, that nobody would really be able to do anything against. He is just so incredibly strong that it is just one of those things that the fact that Jinwoo was able to actively take him down surprised and would really shocked way too many people in solo leveling as that alone. Jinwoo also has incredible durability, being resilient to almost any physical attack that would really be thrown at him to any of the JJK characters. All of the JJK characters have incredible, like decent strength and everything else like that, but compared to Sung Jinwoo, it's not going to be enough to really do too much in terms of him. And if we're really being honest, his speed is the biggest issue for JJK. Yes, his strength completely outscales everyone, and his durability also outscales everyone, but his speed is just way too fast for anyone in JJK. One, he can just use shadows to teleport wherever he needs to go, and there's not really much of a cooldown, especially once he's awoken and everything else like that. He can easily just go wherever he needs to be. So one, there's not too many people that can actively get to him, and even if he doesn't feel like doing that, there's not too many people that are going to be able to injure him if he's standing still, especially due to the fact that he has one, insane regeneration and like a very good healing factor due to the fact that he is who he is. Like, his healing factor is absolutely insane, and he's able to heal injuries at a far greater speed than any normal human would ever be able to. So he basically has his own version of RCT, and it's just something so incredibly hilarious, honestly. And one, he's extremely proficient in dagger-based combat. He's extremely good at very varying levels of martial arts combat and just combating in anything in general. And in all fairness, he wouldn't even need to be really using a lot of like actual techniques, because he just really outclasses so many people in JJK that it is actually hilarious. And let's just say this. One, he's agile. He's able to do so many things, and if there was anyone in JJK that was able to really do anything to him, he has an ability which basically allows him to create armor around his body after he's awoken. And it's just something that nobody's actually going to be able to really deal with and everything else along those lines. There are so many abilities that I could really just be talking about for Jinwoo and Sung Jinwoo entirely, but if we're really being completely honest, the only ones that really make a very big difference, besides obviously the fact that everything that I've already stated, is the few skills that he's able to use that would really just take out a good portion of anybody in JJK. This specifically being Ruler's Authority, which is basically a very strong version of telekinesis that he's able to use, granted to him by all of the like the rulers in the JJK world, which are basically angels in sense and everything else like that, that he's able to use just telekinesis and like on the air around him, which enables him to one, dodge and move incredibly fast and things like that. But that telekinesis bit, it would be able to get through Gojo's Infinity. And that's not even me like saying, oh yeah, Gojo's Infinity is not strong or whatever. It just would be able to do that. And even still, it's just one of those things that Gojo's not going to be able to do anything to Sung Jinwoo entirely, due to the fact that one of Sung Jinwoo's other abilities is called Dragon's Fear, which allows him to be able to release a shout that drives anyone weaker than him into a state of intense despair and panic. And everyone in JJK is weaker than him, so it drives everyone that he's fighting into that state. There's not a single person in JJK that would even be not affected by this. And if I'm being honest, that's only if he decides to fight himself. Because if we're being fair, he wouldn't even have to stand up to win this fight. Sung Jinwoo has and is mainly known for one specific thing: his ability as the Shadow Monarch, granting him abilities to have an entire shadow army around him that is going to be able to do so much damage that it is actively hilarious. One, the fact that he has already so many shadows is actually insane. His shadow extraction, which literally allows him to extract shadows from people that have died and like add them into his army, means that anybody that dies while he's fighting during JJK, he's able to just turn them into his own shadows and add them to the fight to fight on his side. So it's just going to be a losing fight either way. And most of his strongest shadows that he has, like Igrisk, Tusk, Greed, Iron, Beru, and everything else like that, Bellion. So many of his shadows are just so immensely powerful that most of the JJK couldn't even handle his shadows. And that is an absolute fact. His shadows are absolutely insanely dominant. And like Beru, Bellion alone would deal with a good portion of JJK, because if we're just talking about on the JJK side, people like Gojo, Sukuna, Itadori, Yuta, Megami, especially depending on when we're doing this, if it's like, even if it's a fully awakened Sukuna in his full form, if it's Gojo still alive, if it's all of the characters in JJK at their strongest form, we're giving Sukuna access to Maharaga. None of that matters, strictly due to the fact that Maharaga 1 wouldn't be able to adapt to anything before Sung Jinwoo would be able to kill it. Sung Jinwoo can kill most of the things there before anything would be able to really be happening. There are so many characters in JJK that would just basically be taken out within like such a small initial way that it is actively hilarious, but it really just doesn't even go any better from there. Gojo, Sukuna, and any of the very big heavy hitters would be down for the count so quickly, due to the fact that a lot of it's just an actual overwhelming numbers. Sung Jinwoo at his strongest is able to summon over 10 million shadows. And if we really just put that into scale, Jujutsu sorcerers are not very like big in terms of the entirety of the group. It's not like there's millions of Jujutsu sorcerers running around throughout the entire world that are all going to be conjugated in one place. And even if there were, I don't think there's going to be like 10 million Jujutsu sorcerers that are able to stand a candle to taking out all of Jinwoo's shadows. Yeah, some of the weaker fodder shadows can easily get gone, but any of the named ones are too much for them to handle, and any of the even slightly strong ones that range anywhere from high B rank to S rank that would even be around are so overwhelmingly strong compared to almost anybody else in JJK that it would really just be a very big detriment for them. They wouldn't be able to do anything. They would be screwed entirely. JJK is strong for JJK. That's really about it. There are a lot of anime universes that would be able to take out JJK very easily. And me and my friend have actively talked about this, talking about the fact that Demon Slayer really scales higher than JJK, and there are other animes that would be JJK, besides obviously Gojo, which usually would be the biggest problem. But even in this case, he's not going to be really big of a threat because Sung Jinwoo is able to actively take him out and neutralize his infinity to a very decent extent. So it's not really that big of a problem for him to even be bothered with or dealing with. It's really just one of those things that not really much of a concern. So Sung Jinwoo just would really be out here dealing with that entire universe and making it his entire plaything. JJK would really be screwed over if Sung Jinwoo ever entered the fray, because it would be an entirely hell of a fight, to be completely honest. Sung Jinwoo is way too strong for anybody in JJK to even be thinking about trying to touch. And they would just be having an entire wreck, to be fair. They couldn't do anything, and they would just be out here walking around trying to find remnants of any kind of survival that would even be able to happen. So, in layman's term, Sung Jinwoo could easily wipe out the entirety of JJK. It wouldn't even be an entire thing that would take days upon days. He could probably do it within less than a couple hours. And on all honesty, it probably wouldn't even take him a full hour to take care of a good portion of JJK. And it would really just be finding the jutsu sorcerers that he has to fight, and then just dealing with that there. Because when he's bloodlusted, it's not even a comparison. It's not even a fair fight, honestly. He's gonna be able to take them out, and especially like if he uses any of like his actual real big abilities, like spreading shadows around the whole world and just trying to teleport wherever he needs to be teleporting, it really just gets so much worse because he can just pop up wherever he needs to pop up and just start going wherever he needs to do. And that's the funniest part that I honestly think would be happening in this scenario. So please tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. Tell me what you guys think would have happened if Sung Jinwoo actively came into the JJK verse and started fighting. Do you think he would win? Do you think he would be able to do anything else along those lines? But I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.